Hi, and welcome to Sentinel Sports Extra, Cleveland Guardians Report. No analytics here. I'm Tim Shirer, and we're here today to review the last week of the Cleveland Guardians. They played one series because of the All-Star break. Uh, Real quick, my opinion on the All-Star game. I thought the All-Star game was good. It was, hey, um, the game was good. And I don't know, are we ever going to make everybody happy on how to decide an all-star game now? Because let's be honest, none of us wanted to go 14 innings and end at 1 o'clock in the morning, but I thought the home run thing was pretty good. And I was kind of shocked when uh, Aaron Boone announced who he was having his three hitters. I thought for sure Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge, but I don't know. I guess they can't ramp back up after they're out of the game. I don't know. I don't know exactly what goes into it. So, but I thought look. There's worse things like a tie. So Bud Selig. But the All Star game was good. It's still the best. It's still the best All Star game of the four major sports. So, but some people want to have something to complain about. Um, but I thought it was pretty good. Um, you know, you're never going to make some of the millennial um, podcast social media personalities who think they know everything because they have a few thousand, um, um, people that follow them. I do this because I enjoy doing it. I do this because I love sports. I do this because I think I have, my opinion doesn't change every 10 minutes. My opinion about the Guardians franchise, you get these millennial broadcasters or social media people in Cleveland, like Nick Carnes and Nick Padone. And well, he's not a millennial. He made that clear yesterday. He's not a millennial. So he's even younger. So he has even less experience suffering with Cleveland sports. Grant Pusker, Brady Hamilton, those guys, they think they know everything. Not one of them suffered through the 70s and 80s to know what a horrible Cleveland baseball franchise is. This is not a horrible Cleveland baseball franchise. It isn't. It is not. It is a team, a franchise that makes playoffs more often than they don't. The last decade. The people who want to say what a horrible owner, what owners the Domes are. You people don't remember when we didn't even know the owner's name. Or when we had six guys own the team at the same time who didn't have enough money to buy dirt for the field at Cleveland Municipal Stadium. You don't even understand any of that. You don't even know what a bad owner is. You have no idea what a bad owner is. Zero idea what a bad owner is. Anybody 40 years and younger has no clue what a bad owner is in Cleveland. Do you guys know who Ted Stepien is? That's a terrible owner. You guys do know a guy named Jimmy Haslam. That's a bad owner. Okay? The Dolans are not bad owners. Do you guys know who Ted Bonda is? I bet you don't. I bet you don't know Ted Bonda. He once owned the Indians, and they were terrible because he couldn't afford anybody. They traded everybody away. Jesus, oh my God, get a clue about Cleveland sports history, and then you might not complain as much when things don't go bad for a month of the season. Do any of you that I named remember 1991? Boom! None of you do. None of you remember 1991. None. Most of you weren't alive. June of this year was 1991 the entire season. June of this year was year after year in the 70s and the 80s. That's what it was. Okay? Stop your whining. Stop acting like one bad month and a bad off season by the front office, and it was a bad off season. I'll be the first one to say it. Stop acting like that's the norm. Like you're suffering so much. If you're suffering so much, do another business. It's so hard for you. If it's so hard for you to watch, find another team to root for. If watching the Cleveland Guardians is so hard for you, okay? I got a point here. I'm going to make one point, and then we're going to go on to the league. But 1983, 1984, 87 losses. 1985, 102 losses. 1986, still ended up in 11.5, 84-78. 1987, 61 and 101. 1988, 78 and 84. 1989, 73 and 89. 1990, 77 and 85. 1991, 57 and 105. All right. If you're going to whine and you're going to moan about one bad month, know the history of this franchise. And for those of you that say, well, Jacobs, whatever, every single one of those bad years I just mentioned, where they traded guys away those years, every year, traded them away. Jake owned the Guardians or the Indians. So stop acting like Dick Jacobs was the greatest owner that ever lived. Dick Jacobs was a greedy man who cared only about money, and he knew you people would fall for it, and he would make a ton of money once once Jacobs Field opened. That's what happened. That's when he started spending money. When the revenue stream was high. TV ratings were the highest. Attendance was almost a sellout every night. He spent some money, but he didn't spend enough money, did he? Because they didn't win a World Series either. Stop acting like they won 10 World Series with Dick Jacobs as the owner, because they did not. They won nothing. If you say the Nolans won nothing, the Jacobs won nothing also. Nothing. 3 of the worst seasons in franchise history. The Jacobs owned the team. So stop it. Know some history. Stop with your whining. Let's move on. The Guardians are 48 and 50. They're 11 games back. They were 15 and a half back on, I believe it was July 6th. So they've gained some ground on the Tigers. They're not out of this yet. And I'm going to say they're not out of this yet. They are closer than the Tigers were at this time last year, and the Tigers made the playoffs. The Guardians are 4.5 games out of the third wild card. They're still a minus 43. um, run differential, which is not good. I feel like you have to be over to be a playoff team. So they've got some work to go there. But I'm telling you, I feel like it was not that long ago that they were way under. They were under by a lot more than this. They were. I mean, they were. Their run differential. I thought it was minus 81 at one point. So they've cut that down. The winnings has helped. They won 8 out of 10. I didn't like how that game went on Saturday night. I just felt like Logan Allen just killed the momentum, giving that lead right back. He's done that a lot of times in his time here. He is better this year. I have to say that. I'm not going to completely destroy the guy and say that he's terrible, but I feel like he could definitely do, a better job after they get the lead. He seems to give it right back. He seems to Cal Quantrill. Cal Quantrill used to do that a lot, and that bothered me. I was not a Cal Quantrill fan. Obviously, I wanted him to succeed because he was a Guardians pitcher, but he would give the lead back, and I feel like Logan Allen does that too. But I think he's got some potential. I really do. I think he'll be all right. I feel like his next start will be good again. I mean, he only gave up 3 runs. I believe he went 6. So it wasn't a bad outing. It was just the timing of it was not good. But of course, they didn't score any more runs, so it didn't matter. He could have given up 2 runs and they would have lost the game because the bullpen, imploded once it came in, which does not happen that often. It happens more than last year, but remember, last year was an incredible year for the bullpen. It was, and I agree with Tom Hamilton on this. It was a historic bullpen year. So, to try to think that the bullpen this year is going to be exactly the same as last year, that's it. That's asking a lot. They've cleaned up the defense in these last 10 games, which is great. So that's really good. But 48 and 50, they need to get to 500. I think they need to take 3 or 4 from Baltimore here to get back. You got to be 500. I don't want you to even be a playoff team if you can't be 500 because that's crappy. That's NFL like, or that's what do you call it? NBA. No. You got to be 500. You got to be at least. I think you got to be. You have to have at least 84 wins. I think to be a playoff team, that's my standard. At least 84. So, but look, David Fry had a nice game yesterday. I just think the offseason was bad because they put too much faith in a guy that was injured for one, David Fry. He wasn't going to be ready for the season. Is he a marquee player? I think they look at him as a marquee player. I really do. I don't think he is. His ceiling is possibly, if he plays every day, possibly 15 to 20 home runs. I will say this, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I will say this, that I've lost a lot of faith in Bo Naylor, who I was really high on. I covered him when he was at Lake County, but I lost a lot of faith in Bo. And if David Fry's okay, I wouldn't mind seeing him be the starting catcher next year. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't know if you could call him a core player. And I think they relied on him too much, even though he was injured, and they knew he was going to miss time. The one that bothers me the most is, when they traded Tyler Freeman for Nolan Jones. To me, that was just one of the worst possible things they could have. And it wasn't just the trade itself; it was other things that happened because of that trade. I've talked about this before. Reportedly they told Will Brennan at 10 o'clock in the morning on that Saturday that he had made the club. He was going north with them. And then by 2 o'clock that afternoon, 4 hours later, they traded away Tyler Freeman and brought in Nolan Jones. They brought back Nolan Jones, who they gave up on 2 years earlier. The often injured Nolan Jones. He's been healthy this year. I'll knock on wood. He's been healthy this year. But they brought him back, a guy they just traded, 2 years ago. They brought him back. Let's give you some information here. Runners in scoring position, 2 out base hits. The last 10 days, it's been much better. But runners in scoring position and men on base, the Guardians for the season are dead last in Major League Baseball. They are dead last in batting average with men on base. Okay? So maybe this wouldn't help. I guess. I don't know. I don't know how you could think it wouldn't help. But Tyler Freeman, this is with 2 outs. Both these guys. Tyler Freeman with 2 outs and men on base this year is hitting .344. That was heading into yesterday. Okay. It would have got worse because Jones didn't do anything with 2 outs and man on yesterday. But Freeman did not play yesterday. But he's hitting .344 with 2 outs and men on base. Nolan Jones is hitting .263 with 2 outs and men on base. That is 81 points difference. Lower. You don't tell me that the Guardians couldn't take that in their lineup right now, that wouldn't be good for them. They reportedly, from what I understand, they traded for Jones because he hits for more power. He's got 3 home runs. Freeman has 1. So they traded him for 2 more home runs? 2? 2. That's not a very big number. That's not a power hitter. We are 98 games into the season, and he has 3 home runs. He's a power hitter? I feel like this organization doesn't know what a power hitter is and doesn't like power hitters. Jonathan Rodriguez will probably get sent down soon here because he's starting to show a little life. So he'll probably get sent down soon. But I'm going to defend the front office a little here. On the day that they made the trade and traded Josh Naylor backs, podcast that I mentioned about Millennial Younger, ripped the Guardians apart for trading Josh Naylor. And, I saw it as it's opening a spot for Kyle Manzardo. But then they signed Santana. So I didn't really understand that. But people ripped the trade because, they got a draft pick, big deal. And they traded for this pitcher who has a 5 ERA. Well, he did. They were using him as a reliever in Arizona, and it wasn't working out. He made it clear he didn't feel like he could be a reliever. Slade Ciccone. Well, look what he's done here. He seems to get better every single start. The other night, you got to throw out that 9th inning. Okay? That snowballed. For 8 innings, the guy pitched unbelievable. He was perfect through 4 innings. He was at 90 pitches going into the ninth. So those of you who ripped that trade the day it happened, those of you who rip a baseball trade in December when we're, 3.5 months from games, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Slade Cecconi's making you look like a fool. He is. He's making you look like a fool. So I wanted to, because we ripped on the front office a lot for their trades this past off season. And, they couldn't have known that Ortiz was going to get in trouble too. I saw that one too from Grant Puster yesterday, ripping them apart. Blaming the Lindor trade, linking it to this trade with Ortiz, like the Guardians knew in 2021 that Ortiz was going to get in trouble for gambling. How stupid is that? But like my son told me, guys like him put crap out there because people love to read stupid stuff. So Slade Cecconi, that's worked out so far, and hopefully it'll continue to work out. And hopefully he gets better. I know it might be early. I'm just getting some Corey Kluber vibes with this guy. Like, he's going to dominate because he wants to dominate. So we're going to find out, though. But Angel Martinez, okay, his stats still don't look great, but he's coming around. I feel like he could have a really good last two plus months here. And then next year, if he plays every day, he's going to really be something. So I think they've got a winner. And I was not an Angel Martinez fan. Covered him at Lake County. Didn't like some of the things I saw. But he's proven me wrong. Oh, and there's something. I'll admit when I'm wrong. These people on social media, that's all they do. They never admit they're wrong. They'll make excuses. They'll argue with you for 24 straight hours because they cannot admit they're wrong. Every single one of those 4 guys I mentioned. So, but Brian Rocchio, he was hitting 154 when he got sent down on May 8th. Since he's come back from Columbus, he's hitting 267, and he's very close to 200 now. So the people who are ready to give up on him, shame on you. Shame on you. I think the trade of Jimenez affected Rocchio not having his double play partner there. I really do. So now he's adjusted. Went down to Columbus, got his swing together. His defense is still really good. So I think, you can't give up. He's only 24. He is only 24. He's still young. So I'm really happy to see him doing well. I really am. I'm really happy for him. Happy to see him doing well. So then we have, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Did not take my allergy pill this morning. This is what happens when you do not take it. Ran out of them. Did not get them yet. So that's, that's my opinion on some of those guys that we judge too quickly. And we do judge guys quickly. And I have a tendency of doing it sometimes too. But these guys do it constantly. The 4 that I mentioned, they do it constantly. Their opinions change by pitch. It's unbelievable. And they think they're credible. They aren't credible at all. At all. I've been doing this for 28 years. Okay? I covered professional baseball for 20 seasons. I think I might know something. Well over 1,000 games. How many games have those guys covered? Exactly. How many professional managers have they talked to? How many professional players have they interviewed? Oh, that's right, none. Maybe on their show for 5 minutes. But have they ever stood there and had a conversation with them? A conversation like, what goes on in the dugout? What's your thinking in this situation? Have they ever? No, they haven't done that. They haven't. They have not. But they think they know everything. But so the Guardians went 2-1 against the Athletics. We got that. They're a +2. They outscored them 18-16. Those Athletics can hit, right? They can hit. You got to give those Athletics credit. They can hit. If they get some pitching, they're winning that AL West in a couple years. I don't know what they have in their farm system. I haven't looked pitching-wise. But if they can develop some pitching or maybe sign a free agent here or there, that they can win that West because that offense is going to be really formidable. But so we only got a couple minutes left here. Let's preview the Orioles. The Orioles are coming up. 4-game series starting tonight. We got 6:40, 6:40, 6:40 Monday through Wednesday, and then the Thursday game is 1:10. But the Orioles are not what people expected this year. They're 44-54. They've already fired their manager. They're in last place in the AL East. They're a -99. They're 22-29 on the road. But with that being said, the Guardians cannot take them lightly. The Guardians have to play good, sound, fundamental baseball, score some runs, and pitch well, and they could win 3 out of 4. And I don't like their interim manager, Tony Manzolino. He was once the manager of the Lake County Captains, and he is not a nice person. He's another guy that suffers from the Napoleon syndrome. He's a little guy, and he thinks he's a tough guy. And every night after the game, he felt like he was going to teach us about baseball. And he really, really pissed me off when he questioned the official scorer for Lake County, who is in the Ohio Baseball Hall of Fame for coaching. And he thought he knew more than him. So I'm not a Tony Manzolino fan. So hopefully he won't get the job permanently. And if he does, hopefully it won't go well. And then after they finished the 4-game series with the Royals, they head to Kansas City for 3. 8:10 Friday night, 7:15 Saturday, and then 2:10 on Sunday. They'll take on the Royals. The Royals are in 4th place in the division, and they've struggled lately. So, that's pretty much what we got. There's not a lot more to really go over this week. I think it was a pretty action-packed show. I finally made my feelings known about those those podcasters who think they know everything. But let me give my prediction for the week. We have 7 games this week. I'm going to predict. I was right last week, so that was good. But that's the first time I was right in a while. But I was right last week. I want to be right, but I know I won't be right sometimes. So I'm going to go low this week. I'm going to go 4-3 for the week. I'd love to see them go 5-2, but I'm going to go 4-3 for the week. So I'm going to say by the end of this week, they will be 52-53. So I'm going to say they're going to take 3 or 4 from the Orioles, and they'll win 1 in Kansas City. So until next week, I hope everybody has a good week. Go Guardians, and one last thing, rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner.